Hi, my name is Derek DiGiulio, and I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about sleep deprivation and catching up on sleep. And the title of my presentation is You Can Sleep When You're Dead. So, I had a lot of problems with sleep and lack of sleep. In college, there were nights where I was hanging out with my roommates until 2 or 3 a.m., and then having to be up for class or clinicals the next morning. There were nights where I only got 1 or 2 hours of sleep, and I definitely felt a lot of negative effects during that time, being health and feeling arrested, a lot of just negative things associated with that. I'd like to say that I feel like everyone at some point in their life has struggled with sleep and maybe just not prioritized sleep the way that they should have. And I'd like to show you guys that sleep can't be transferred or caught up on, and that we should prioritize sleep where we are so that way we don't suffer for that time or the rest of our lives. So I looked at two different studies that talked about sleep deprivation and catching up on sleep. The first one looked at metabolism and energy production and regulation in the body for sleep deprivation and for weekend recovery sleep. And the second one looked at how tau is accumulated, and tau has been linked to an increased risk of Alzheimer's. So it looked at how when we're sleep deprived, tau accumulates more than when we are not. So the first study was by Deppener in 2019, and it showed that in a study of people who only got 5 hours of sleep per night, their insulin sensitivity was reduced by about 13%, which means that their energy regulation was decreased significantly, and so their body isn't able to utilize the energy that they take in as well. And in the study where they showed weekend recovery sleep, which allowed on weekends unlimited amount of sleep, as much as they wanted, with 5 hours of sleep per night during weekdays, they had an insulin sensitivity reduction of 9 to 27%, which showed that it's much less consistent and also could be increased if you try to recover on weekends or try to catch up on sleep on the weekends. So the second study that I looked at was by Holth in 2019 as well, and this one looked at tau and how it's accumulated in the body. And so tau is accumulated 90% more when you're awake than when you're asleep, which means that while you're awake, your body is accumulating tau much more. And it showed a 10% increase in tau accumulation when you're sleep deprived. And so since tau is positively associated with Alzheimer's, if we are awake more than we're asleep, or more than normal, and if we're sleep deprived, that increase our risk for Alzheimer's. So also in Deppener's study, it looked at the comparison between people who had a consistent 5 hours of sleep per night and people who had weekend recovery sleep or unlimited amount of sleep on the weekends. And it showed that that recovery sleep made their insulin sensitivity much less consistent, causing their body to not be able to utilize the energy as well, and not maintain the proper processing of the energy that they should. And in some cases it was actually, the insulin sensitivity was decreased much more than a consistent amount of sleep deprivation. So in some cases, weekend recovery sleep can hurt your body more than just normal sleep deprivation. So also with that, it compared the energy intake after dinner, which a lot of us might call midnight snacking. I'm a culprit of that every once and again, now and again. I'll just go to the fridge and grab anything that I can find just because I'm hungry at night. And it showed that people who were allowed recovery on weekends, that next time they were sleep deprived, their energy intake after dinner increased. And as that energy intake after dinner increases, it hurts our body's way of regulating weight and can cause weight gain, which is, in most people's cases, a negative consequence of sleep deprivation and weekend recovery. So, as you've seen, there are a lot of negative aspects of sleep deprivation and trying to catch up on sleep. Those being, it hurts our ability to regulate energy, it can increase our risk for Alzheimer's, and catching up can hurt us and cause possibly less consistent energy use and weight gain. And I just like to prompt you guys to think of practical ways that you yourselves can prioritize sleep and get healthy sleep so that you don't suffer any of these negative effects of sleep deprivation or trying to catch up, as well as just maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And here are my references. Thank you guys for listening.